Someone sent me this article the other day and asked me to do some commentary on it, and since I'm eager to please, I was like, may as well. So the article is called Internalized Misogyny. I'm not like most girls. And it opens up with this picture. Swear to God, I can't stand to hear a woman claim that she thinks like a guy and hates women because they're all catty. That's misogyny. The very fact that you, as a woman, think differently than how a socially stereotyped woman is supposed to think is proof that our gender norms are fucking us over. Women are not all alike. Some of us like football, some of us like talking on the phone, some of us like religion, some of us are emotional, some of us speak 3 languages, some of us have boyfriends, some of us have girlfriends, some of us wear lipstick, some of us don't even shave our pits, some of us have kids, some of us worry we'll drop our best friend's baby. Now please, stop claiming that you don't act like a woman. Doesn't make you a special fucking snowflake, it makes you a perpetuator of misogyny. Well, I mean, shit, it's a perfectly good case of the pot calling the kettle black on that whole special snowflake thing. I mean, anyway, let's get into the meat of this article. So, when I was 17, I went to a party. Also in attendance was a boy that I liked, who actually liked me back. So, needless to say, we spent a bit of that little get-together flirting with each other. Nothing major. Brief brushes of the skin, of my skin on his, maybe a couple of hugs that went on a few seconds too long to be considered really friendly. All in all, it was pretty innocent. Anyone who was keeping an eye on us would have probably noticed, but I figured that everyone else was probably too busy doing their own socializing and didn't care what I was up to. I was wrong. It didn't take a full 24 hours for it to get back to me that one of the other girls at this party was having an absolute fit about what a total slut I was. I was a slut, a whore, a skank, and I was probably riddled with STDs to boot. She also made a point about how stupid and annoying I was. Here's the real kicker. I'd never talked to this girl. Never in my life. She graduated from my high school a couple of years ahead of me, so the only time I'd ever been in any sort of close quarters with her was at this party. The only logical conclusion? A boy had been paying special attention to me, and she was mad as hell about it. Naturally, at 17, my first reaction was to be outraged, to be hurt, to have angry tears, to rant about what a crazy bitch this girl was, and to revel in any nasty things anyone told me about her. Then I grew up a little bit. I grew up, and I started thinking about this all-too-common phenomenon. Girl hate. It's so rampant that it's contributed to the stereotype that all girls are catty and horrible, and some of us have started insisting that we're not like other girls to separate ourselves from these generalizations, saying that we'd rather hang out with boys because boys have less drama. So let's stop right there. First thing I'm going to talk about is this whole girl hate bullshit. There's no such thing as fucking girl hate. It's called jealousy. You know, I mean, it's just girls and women want men's attention. They see someone else getting the attention they want. They get upset and they get jealous. That's all it is. They want attention. They see someone else getting that attention, so they get mad. It's not fucking girl hate. It's that they are jealous. There's a word for it. You didn't have to invent girl hate. It's called fucking jealousy. Same thing happens with men. It's not fucking male hate. If a man sees another man getting some attention, he's like, damn, I hate that nigga. I want to talk to that girl. It's jealousy. It's envy. That's all it is. I mean, you don't need to, give it a different name or give it a different spin to make it seem like it's something it isn't. Second thing let's talk about, and I was thinking about this the other day too. When girls say shit like, I only hang out with boys because boys are less drama. And in my experience, now, of course, this isn't everybody, but in my experience, whenever I hear girls say that, it kinda leads me to believe, it kinda makes me think they're a little bit of an attention whore. I think sometimes a lot of the girls I met who say that phrase, they're fucking attention whores. They hang out with a bunch of boys so they can get some attention, because in all actuality boys are definitely not as catty as women, but in terms of having less drama, I think that's a crock of fucking bullshit. I mean, there used to be fights almost every fucking week at my high school, talking about less drama. The amount of times I almost got into different fights with boys, the amount of times some insecure nigga texted my phone, or somebody who's insecure was telling me to stop talking to his girlfriend or some shit like that. I mean, boys are less drama. Bullshit. Boys are less fucking drama. Less catty. Absolutely. But I mean, men and boys have their own problems to deal with in the social realm, and they're not exempt from it. Again, it's not about like spreading rumors and shit like that, but I mean, it's definitely different issues that men have to face. And so if you're just saying, I'm only hanging out with boys because I don't have to deal with catty girls. Well, I mean, again, that's still bullshit, because you can choose to hang out with these catty girls or not hang out with them. I mean, it's all your fucking choice. If you don't want to hang out with these catty girls, don't hang out with catty girls. There's lots of different really nice women you can be around. So, I mean, again, I think it's BS. But getting back to this article, the person goes, here's the thing, though. Homogenizing the entire female gender down to one or two negative stereotypes is sexist. When girls perpetuate it, it's called internalized misogyny. Now, let me stop right there again. If girls are perpetuating this idea of internalized misogyny, wait, hold on, let me get this one straight. If women dislike other women, then wouldn't that be the fucking opposite of internalized misogyny? I mean, if you were saying that these girls hate themselves and were projecting that hate onto other people, you might have a case. But if you're saying that it's internalized misogyny if other women dislike other women, again, that would be the literal fucking opposite of internalized, because they hate everybody around them, not themselves. So, yeah, I don't know. No, it wouldn't be internalized misogyny. It would just be misogyny. And sadly, I found that these girls are guilty of perpetuating misogyny almost as often as men are. Oh, come on. Whatever. If we as a society would stop conditioning girls and women to feel like we have to constantly compete with each other, girl hate would pretty much stop. Well, newsflash, lady, if you want some attention, you are going to have to compete for it. So, if we as a society would stop trying to tell girls and women that the most important thing is male attention, we'd stop feeling threatened by other girls and how they look, and we'd stop ripping our fellow ladies to shreds over their appearances. Well, I mean, that's all up to the woman, the individual woman. If she wants to focus on other things, well, then she can focus on other things. But women naturally want attention from men because they like men for the most part, the same way men like women for the most part. We want attention from each other. There's nothing wrong with wanting attention. Now, there's everything wrong with desperately seeking attention. That's terrible. But there's nothing wrong with wanting a man or a woman to care about you. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But society has told us that male attention is the ultimate prize and that every other girl in the room is competing for it. Well, I mean, that's not society, that's biology, jackass. It's made us feel like we've won if a man thinks we're attractive. So we get angry if another girl in the room might take this away from us. This is about the time we start sizing up other ladies, deciding that she has better body, but your face is nicer, and hopefully that makes up for it. This is about the time you start comparing your hair and your clothes to hers, start looking for every flaw that you can possibly find in this human being just because she's there. Well, you know, in all honesty, men probably don't give a fuck about much of the flaws that you think you have. I mean, you find a nice guy who treats you well, I mean, you've won. You don't really need to compete all too much. But alright, let's keep going. We feel that we've won if a man thinks we're special. Well, I mean, that's what a lot of girls want. A lot of girls want to feel special, and that's biology. I mean, so this is part of what contributes to that god-awful special snowflake complex that leads many girls to attempt to separate themselves from the rest because they have to be better. If unique and special is what gets attentions, then I have to be the most unique and special. Cue loads of posts online by girls who think they're better than other girls because they like staying at home and use the internet more than they like going out and partying. This is the attitude that leads to rubbish like this. And this is a picture, so let's switch to this picture. Being somewhere and wondering, am I the only one here who isn't a slut? That's just actually pretty funny. It goes, newsflash, you don't have to constantly compare yourself to every other girl around you. It leads to women tearing each other down instead of building each other up. It leads us to judge a person's worth by their most trivial of actions and appearances rather than looking at their full depth. And then we have an edited picture of the picture we just looked at, so let's check that shit out. Student council president and in the top 5 of her class, taking a day off from the immense pressure and stress, she feels at home to just have fun. Wouldn't make her any less of a slut, by the way. Extremely insecure on her body, but falls into her confidence enough to wear things that let her feel beautiful, even if her definition of beauty is different than yours. Would not make her any less of a slut, by the way. Strong believer in feminism and believe women have the right to express themselves in any means of dress. Would not make her any less of a slut, by the way. Comes from a broken home but manages to keep her chin up and have fun no matter what life throws at her. Again, that would not make her any less of a slut by definition. If any of those girls, okay, are promiscuous and are looking for some dick to have or looking for a one-night stand, again, all of those things are awesome, but it wouldn't make you any less of a slut. I mean, a slut, by definition, is just a promiscuous woman. It doesn't really matter what awesome things you can do. What matters, in terms of that word, in terms of that definition, is your sexual history. That's it. And that doesn't mean you're a bad person. That's just what the word means. This is behavior that's been programmed into women by our society our entire lives. So it won't be easy to unlearn. I've internalized so much of this myself. Us girls, we're victims. Victims of a society that constantly tells us we're too fat, but we can't be too skinny either. Too ugly, but don't wear too much makeup or you look fake. That your clothes have to be amazing, but caring about fashion is petty and shallow. That you can't be a doormat, but you're too assertive, you're a total bitch. A society that screams at us from every billboard and magazine cover, you are not good enough. And because we perceive each other as threats, we rip each other to shreds. Which, let me just add, is a gigantic waste of time. Ladies, if there is any woman watching this video, you should revel in the fact that a man is going to end up loving you because you are a woman. Now, the challenge is not you finding a man to love you. The challenge is you getting out your own ass so you pick that man and end up being fucking happy with someone who gives a fuck about you. But I'm going to have to talk about that in the future. But I think recognizing this behavior is the first step to overcoming it. I think that once you become aware that you're only mentally sizing a girl up because she's pretty and confident, you can't stop yourself. You can stop yourself in your tracks. You can take control and not let this nonsense get the better of you. Imagine a world where girl-hate relationships were better, where women could work together for the betterment of their gender instead of hating each other. Well, you'll understand you can have that and still try to get attention from men. I mean, it's all about self-confidence or self-respect. Anyway, imagine walking into a room and not caring who has a nicer butt than you. Viva la revolution. Once I embraced the idea that other women are not my natural enemies, my relationships with them improved drastically, and so did my confidence in myself. I could focus on my own personal growth rather than stunting that of others. It's a perspective that has led me to making wonderful, supportive friends who feel the same way. And friends are good, because no one wants to smash the patriarchy alone. Now, I guess the most interesting thing about this article is the fact that this woman, I guess, just, oh, I mean, at the end of the day, she has grasped the concept of self-respect and, you know, self-esteem, you know, so I guess she understands that, you know, being attractive is not the most important thing in the world, but at the same time, you know, I think where she's missing it is the fact that, you know, this is a desire women want. You know, women want to get attention from men, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you are criticizing the desperate measures women take to obtain this attention, that's perfectly fine. But I mean, to bash women for feeling this way or to get upset with the whole culture, again, as I say, at the end of the day, it is a gigantic waste of time to primarily focus on the way you look if you're not representing a company. If you're trying to get a man to like you, you know, as a woman, you have been guaranteed that. Now, have you been guaranteed a high status profile, man, is another thing, but you've been guaranteed, I mean, just fucking being a goddamn woman, you're gonna get someone to care about you. So again, I think it's a gigantic waste of time for women to constantly complain or care about the way they look, or for feminists to bitch and complain about this shit. I mean, it's all about the woman herself. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the woman by herself. But again, it's just jealousy. It's not girl hate. It's just jealousy because women want attention from men, and that's not a profound statement. That's just what it is, you know. And a lot of the times, a lot of these women who seek out this attention from men come from broken homes, as we saw in one of the pictures, and she's seeking this attention because she didn't get it from her dad. That's what it is. A lot of these girls are seeking this attention. They're attention whores because they didn't get that positive masculine role model in their lives. So I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of other problems to really be discussed, but I personally, I do agree with the feminist here, you know, that being attractive is not the most important thing in the world. But I mean, to blame this shit on the fucking patriarchy, that's asinity at its goddamn finest. So I mean, I guess she's right, but in typical feminist fashion, she's right for the wrong fucking reasons. So, you know, I'm gonna end the video here. That's all I really have to say. Thank you for showing me this article. I thought it was pretty funny, and I hope someone got something out of this. So with that being said, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, have a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.